So, first and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this lesson is going to be a quick one just based on, patience. And those of us of the hopeful elect, having to remain patient, because obviously we want the kingdom of heaven. We want to be out of this wicked system that we're in. We're still in captivity under our enemies. Our chief enemy, of course, being the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the Edomite. And brothers do get, depressed sometimes. Brothers and sisters, of course, do get depressed sometimes, get sad, get a little down in the spirit. But we have to keep in mind that our salvation is very, very close. Like you got to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. The Lord is speeding up the times. Prophecies are coming to pass a lot faster. We just got to hold on, keep your head up, keep your eyes on the prize, which is enduring unto the end and getting saved. So through the Spirit, I'm going to get some, definitions, get some precepts, and Lord's will you're edified. It says in the King James Version, patience is frequently equated with steadfast endurance and long suffering. It says key verses emphasize that tested faith builds this virtue, and waiting on Yahweh's timing yields a rich harvest. And that's right. So that's what we have to do. We have to continue to wait, because the Heavenly Father has everything set up exactly how He wants it. Things may not be necessarily moving at the pace that we would like, but when you understand that the Lord, He has everything the way that He wants it, and everything is playing out in its appropriate time, then you just wait. You remain patient. Because the Lord knows what He's doing. He's the one who created all these scenarios that are playing out. He knows when everything is supposed to happen, because He's the one that put it together in the first place. You just have to trust. No matter how difficult things may get for us, trust that so long as we are daily doing the things that are righteous in the eyes of the Lord according to the scriptures, and we're being fervent and diligent, and we're staying prayed up, and we're following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and daily rehearsing the righteous acts, we have to trust that the Lord, He's going to continue to guide us through these times, and He's going to continue to keep His hedge of protection over us. We just have to continue to endure and trust that no matter what happens, the Lord, He's going to, keep us safe. Psalms 37:7. Rest in the Lord Yahweh, and wait patiently for Him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. It says, cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. And that's right. So don't get upset, when you see these Edomites prospering, or so it seems. It looks like they're prospering, or these wicked 2/3, or these other heathens. It seems like, oh, they're just going around and going on vacation, going here, going there. They got all the newest cars and they're buying new houses and all of that. Don't become, like jealous of them. Don't envy them, because all of that's about to go away. The Lord is literally going to have all these things, all of these riches, these ill-gotten gains by these wicked people. It's all going to go up in flames. The Lord is going to take all of it away. You see, all of these riches that these people have, that's temporary. But the kingdom of heaven is eternal, and that's what we want. We want eternal rulership, eternal riches. We want to be in the kingdom and have, our health and never have to worry about getting sick again. Never have to worry about losing our loved ones again. We never have to worry about going off again and ending up in captivity under our enemies again. That's what we want. Ultimately, we want Yahweh Shai to rule. And in order for that to happen, this wicked system that we're currently living in has to go. And it will go through nuclear destruction. It says, weary is an adjective that means to be physically or mentally exhausted by hard work, exertion, or strain. It can also describe a state of losing your patience, interest, or enthusiasm for something you are tired of doing. It said growing weary of a routine or endless waiting. And we can't do that. We can't get weary in this faith because we're so close to the end. Like, you see what's popping off out there in Western Asia, quote unquote Middle East, with Iran and the US and Israel and Lebanon. You see how, Trump has just been going around putting tariffs on everybody, including the US's allies. And the US, and therefore those allies are very pissed off at the US. So they're starting to distance themselves. Like the Lord is really creating it, whereas soon the US and Israel are going to be all by themselves and the rest of the world is going to be against them. And then not too long after that, the US and Israel are going to get nuked. After, a couple of more prophecies come to pass. But the end is that the US and Israel are going to get nuked. Israel is going to get cleansed of all those heathens that are in the Lord's land, because those are not the true Israelites out there. Those are definitely not the Lord's chosen people. And the US is just, the most wicked place on the planet, so this place gotta go. So the US is gonna get erased off the face of the earth, and the land of Israel is gonna get cleansed with nuclear fire. And we are so close to that happening. Like I said earlier, we just have to keep our eyes on the prize. We can't get tired in this faith. You got to keep going. You don't want to fail the Lord. You don't want to disappoint the Lord. You don't want to take your hand off that plow and look back, because to be perfectly honest, there's nothing to look back for. We all know the story of Lot. How his wife looked back and turned to stone because the Lord said, don't look back. We have to, we have to be in that mindset of Lot, just straightforward, just keep going. Don't look back. There's nothing to look back to. Looking back is, all this pain and suffering and wickedness and folly and nonsense. That's what's behind you. What's in front of you is the kingdom of heaven, salvation, perfection, being put back in our royal, godly state. Having everything you ever wanted, and then some. And nobody will be able to take it away from you. Galatians 6 and 9, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And that's right. In due season, we're going to reap. We're going to reap salvation and life everlasting. And, for the brothers, you're going to have as many women as you want, or as many, obviously as many women as the Lord allows you to have. You're going to have your health, you're going to have wealth, fresh air, fresh water, fresh food. You're going to have these heathens in captivity under you. They're going to be your slaves, Like, everything's going to be perfect, like quite literally perfect. But the only way to get there is you got to endure, you got to finish your course, so to speak, enduring to the end. And this is why brothers constantly, stress that we have to stay prayed up. You got to pray all day, every day. Pray for the Lord to, give you strength to continue to endure, and, pray that the Lord keeps you in a mindset of enduring no matter what happens, Like, what we're suffering, what we go through is nothing compared to what we will receive. And that's the mindset that we have to have, that all of this is temporary. But what we're about to receive is going to be forever. It's going to be eternal. Yep. See, a lot of people, they don't understand that. At least I'm talking about Israelites, because it don't matter about these heathens, because they're wicked and the Lord ain't dealing with them, and the Lord was never dealing with them. But as far as our people are concerned, a lot of our people, they get so down and depressed because all they see is their current condition, their current low state. They don't understand, like, hey, this is only temporary. And the only reason why we're in this low state is because we went off. We were in the wrong. We started worshiping false idols and following the ways of the heathen. We strayed from the righteous ways of following the Lord. So this is our punishment, because we angered the Lord. The Lord didn't just put us down here for no reason. He didn't put us in this low state just because. No, he put us here to teach us a lesson. He put us here to punish us because we were going off. We provoked him unto wrath. And everything that our people have been suffering is a result of that. This is our fault. But you see, the Lord, he's going to reverse it. And in the kingdom of heaven, all Israelites, even the 2/3 that get wiped out on this side, we're all gonna come back. We're all gonna be good. We're all gonna be perfect. And that's the goal, But as far as, these heathens are concerned, they haven't even really begun to suffer and to pay for all the things that they have done, all of their wickedness, especially these Edomites, these so-called white people. The level of judgment and punishment and wrath that's in store for them is going to be mind-boggling. It's going to be something that nobody has ever witnessed before. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters, just focus on that. Focus on the positives. Focus on enduring unto the end. Focus on, pleasing the Lord, doing the righteous acts that, are pleasing in the sight of the Lord, Focus on keeping your hand on the plow and looking towards that light at the end of the tunnel. And just know that at the end is everything you've ever wanted. and then some. We will be greatly rewarded for enduring into the end and finishing our course. Like it says, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And it says in due season. So there is a time, a specific time, where the Lord is going to grant us what we want. But we got to get there, though. It's just like a race. You don't win the race if you stop short. If you never cross that finish line, then you don't get a trophy. You get a DNF, a did not finish. We gotta cross that finish line. You gotta get there. There is no other option. There is nothing here for us. Everything is against us here in Babylon. Why would you want to stay here? These 2/3, they don't have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's why, they still call themselves black people or, Native Americans or whatever these bywords and proverbs that Esau has placed upon them. They don't want to be Israelites. They want to be comfortable and conform to their captivity. They don't want the kingdom of heaven. They don't want to be ruling over their enemies. But that's okay, because the Lord is going to destroy them on this side. And then when they come back through the loins of the elect in the kingdom, then they'll be in their right state of mind and they'll be happy to rule over their enemies. There's not going to be any more of this trying to do some Martin Luther King, everybody holding hands, kumbaya nonsense. Like, no, we're Israelites. We're better than everybody else. The Lord made us that way. Even now, in our captivity, in our low state, you can see that we're better. We're the better artists. We're the better chefs. We're the better dancers. We're the better singers. We're better at sports. The Lord created us that way. We are his favorite people. We are his chosen people. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans primarily. And then the Israelites who are scattered amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens, but you can tell that they're Israelites because they're spirit, because they dominate wherever they go. Like so many of our people, they'll say that we are God, we're the Lord's chosen people, but they don't really believe it. They have a zeal for the Lord. They know, like within them, there's something that's letting them know that they're better than the heathens that are around them. They just don't have the full grasp of, what that means and how real that actually is. But the Lord, he's going to remind them. Granted, like I said, the 2/3 are going to have to get wiped out on this side because they're just too damn wicked. They're going to have to get wiped out on this side and then brought back in the kingdom. But once they get brought back, they're going to be solid. And that goes for these wicked men and these wicked women and these wicked kids as well. And that's also going to involve some of our loved ones. Because some of our loved ones the Lord is going to take them out because they're wicked. But they're going to come back. Everything we lose on this side, we're going to get again. Multiple times over. So don't stress about losing anything here or anyone. Because everything that you're meant to have, you're going to get in the kingdom. So just focus on getting there. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Aquath, and shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.